Hello, everyone. Welcome to Dragon Talk. How are you guys doing? We have new microphones that we're still getting used to a little bit. So if you see us
so fancy,
craning our necks around,
but we can do that
to get in there. We can do it now. Exactly. It's pretty amazing. How are you guys doing in Twitch land? Pretty good? Good. All right. So we're going to go right into our interview because we have these two amazing people here joining us. So yeah, I'll do that one more time. You ready?
Ready?
I don't know. Hi, everybody. We have two amazing guests coming right here with us. We have Jenny Bendel and Ben from Syrinscape.
Hello.
Woo!
How are you guys doing?
Fantastic. Lovely. Really.
You look like you're doing good.
Yeah, what's not to like?
Excited to be here. I landed in the US just sort of 36 hours ago, so I pretty much have no idea what time zone I'm in
You're
or anything.
practically a native now.
That's right. Absolutely. Yeah.
That's the best time to be in for a time traveler, right? So you're
That's
like,
right.
I don't know, time is bending all around me. It doesn't make any sense.
In Sydney, it's tomorrow, yesterday, or something.
It is in the future. Yes. We've talked to you.
From the future.
Yeah.
You too, Jenny? You came from the future too?
Well, I currently live in the central time zone, so yeah, I have 2 hours future. I did. I came from
Nice.
the future, yeah.
So we are here to talk all about a new fun partnership between Wizards of the Coast, Dungeons & Dragons, and Syrinscape. Yeah, this is exciting. For folks who are listening who may not know what Syrinscape or Dungeons & Dragons is, I hope they know that. But what is Syrinscape? What is it all about?
Syrinscape is an app that brings beautiful, immersive, natural, totally realistic sound to the table, sound and music. It's like kind of a recording of a medieval town, but instead of just a 15-minute loop that goes round and round and round, it's generated by the app. It takes dog barks and hawkers and passing carts and the sound of wind and the sound of gulls and mixes them all together in a beautifully randomized, continuous, easy-to-use stream and creates completely immersive sound until you then hit the dragon attack and all hell breaks loose and everyone screams and dies, which is super cool. It was designed basically for me because I was sick of having to manage playlists and bringing up the wrong song or the mood of a movie soundtrack song changing because something random happens in the music and in the movie and suddenly the mood is supposed to change at my table. So it's just designed for me to really keep the attention of me playing the game on my players instead of with my head down sort of in some sort of computer trying to manage sound. And the other most important thing it does, which most people aren't able to do easily at the moment, is to mix their own music tracks from computer games that they own. They can upload those to the server and mix them together with environmental sounds of goblins flaying people alive or dragons chasing people down corridors with broomsticks or whatever you want, or laser guns for that matter.
What?
It's possible. I'll show you later if you want. I'll give you a demo of dragons with laser guns.
So is all of this built in, and then you can just kind of customize what you want?
Yeah.
Oh my god!
So it's an app, and it's a soundboard app, right? And so Syrinscape makes the official sounds of a bunch of the leading games in the tabletop hobby. We are very excited that D&D is our new partner. We're going to make the first sounds for this legendary game that's never had them before, I believe. And so the way it's a super easy to use app that works on any device, and you can either sort of set it and forget it and let it play during your campaign. So it's real easy for GMs to just kind of press a button and let it roll, and then Syrinscape will fill up the table with this amazing immersive audio environment that is really what you want when you're playing a game, to sort of bring the people right into the world and make it come alive, right?
Yeah, should I give you a demo? It might be a really easy way to show.
Sure, let's hear some sounds.
So can you hear some peaceful morning there?
That morning is so peaceful.
It's lovely.
Wait,
So
is it M-O-U-R
like
and...
Nothing is going to go wrong at all. Everything is going to be totally fine.
Calm before the storm.
There's thousands of sounds. There's something for any environment you're playing at the table, whether it's
Now, are these
calm
actual Forgotten Realms birds that I'm hearing?
I think these are non-brand denominational fantasy aviation creatures.
These birds were described.
That's what we're officially collecting here today in the Wizards offices, which is super cool. Is the official sound. So do you have a Forgotten Realms bird that you've practiced and you? Oh,
there goes one.
There goes one.
That kind of sounds like a West Seattle seagull.
It does. So ready. So when you're ready,
dogs.
all you do is I'm going to reach this. I've touched Peaceful Morning as the one button I've touched, and as the PCs negotiate for like hours and hours with the barkeep about the price they were going to go and do the adventure for, you get so sick eventually you're like, I'm just going to have a dragon attack because I can't stand it anymore. I just reach over and I touch Dragon Fire, and that's all I do. As Jenny said, I just set and forget, and it will run by itself alarm bells goes off, music plays, the dragon roars. I can trigger some flames or some screaming.
So you can add in
You
more.
can.
Oh,
you
yes.
can. Say they want to attack the darkness with their magic missile. You can push a magic missile
What
spell.
does that sound like? Oh, there we go.
Fireballs.
Fantasy. But the cool thing is, as Jenny said, you can set and forget and it'll just run and run and run. Or I can say I like the music. I can turn that up because it's totally awesome because I wrote it. Or you can turn the music off, and I'm going to go to the storm sound set, and I'm going to turn on rain and thunder and lightning.
Still screaming though. I like the screaming.
So now we're like, we can extinguish our players while we light them at the same time. And as I promised, I like laser guns, so I'm going to give the dragon some laser guns. Excellent. And then it'll just run, and I can actually then save that as a preset. So all those little modifications I just made, I can actually hit plus on the app and save that as dragons with laser guns, and then that later just becomes that single touch. It's just basically designed to make the job really, really simple, and you can see I've managed to keep talking to you guys without looking down too much. And then eventually when battle finishes, if the players survive, or the player characters survive, then I just hit Aftermath, and now all we have is the
Aftermath.
crackling of fire and the weeping of men. And that's all. Yeah, so that's a quick demo. But there's, as Jenny said, there's like starships and swamps and deserts and icy wastelands and taverns and all sorts of stuff.
Nice.
Oh my God.
And you guys are creating something specifically for Waterdeep Dragon Heist, is that correct?
We're going to have like storyline specific soundtracks.
So the idea is, as you go through the adventure, rather than having to think, oh, what sound should I put on for this section, you can actually just hit basically the sort of section heading as a button in Syrinscape. So you just basically just go through and hit the buttons in order, and that's like minimal preparation required by the Dungeon Master. And what's also super, super cool is that lots of the important readout dialogue moments you can actually trigger just within Syrinscape and just hit a single button, and you'll get like a really fantastic WotC person who actually made the adventure reading the dialogue in the voice that they imagined.
Perhaps like Chris Perkins,
Perhaps Chris Perkins might be doing...
Richard actually was doing some of his voices in the hall just now.
That's true.
He's very good.
What was he doing?
Good. He had a good British...
He was doing the watch. He was doing the watch, these two watch officers who give you a whole lot of information. So now rather than having to sort of read out this slab of text, you can actually just trigger Richard and he'll read it for you in the voice. And then you can continue as a Dungeon Master in the same accent if you want them to talk directly to you, or you can go into the third person and sort of describe other things that the Watchman gives. It doesn't take over your role as the Dungeon Master, but actually just allows you to really bring those characters to color in the way that Dungeons and Dragons meant them to be, which is super cool.
That sounds really
Chris
fun.
Perkins is recording Xanathar.
The Xanathar itself.
Wow, that's
Absolutely.
a scoop. We hadn't announced that yet.
Yeah.
Here comes the PR person ready to slap you down. Do the dragon attack. Do the dragon attack. That's the PR person.
Fire, cast fireball, cast fireball.
Burn it.
Is there a button for when your PR person wants to tape your mouth shut?
It's this one.
That is so good.
So we just announced today that we're going to be making the official sounds for the D&D role-playing game, and we figured what better way to start off than coming here to D&D World Headquarters and recording some of the creative team, the people who imagine these voices and scenarios. They know what these places and people sound like in their heads, right? So they're going to help us bring them to life, and we kicked it all off with Chris Perkins recording the voice of Volo.
Yeah.
And so if anybody that's paying attention on Facebook, on either the Syrinscape Facebook page or if it's been shared on the D&D page yet, there's actually some preliminary video of Chris giving a first run at the voice of Volo on there.
Nice, that's so good. He's done Volo before too. He's like that's like now his voice that he's been. He was I think in Neverwinter he recorded all of the dialogue as Volo Thamp Gadarn.
Yeah.
And now players will have that at their fingertips.
That's so
They
cool.
can conjure Volo whenever they want.
You know what the best thing is at the end of the take that we actually took footage of, the last thing he says, "Oh, I don't like that." He's like, he really had really, really clear visions of exactly how he wanted it to sound, and he didn't leave the room until he got it right, I tell you what, which is super cool.
The video we put on Facebook, he did it at the end. He's like, "Oh, I didn't like that one." Too bad, just posted it.
Take 2, take 3.
But we can fix it in post. So
It's really cool. So I think, Shelley, are you going to Dungeon Master with Syrinscape at the ready?
Maybe.
I think so. I think this is my.
This is even more inspiring.
Shelly does really good voices. I don't know if you have any room
Oh, you're
for
coming in to do some
for
recording.
I mean,
a
I
C-3PO
said that
type
I
voice.
would. Oh dear! I can do a voice. My son
me-
thinks it's really funny.
Put me in your soundboard.
Put me in. They can be like generic droid. 'cause
Yeah.
I'm sure you can't.
Yeah.
call it.
Actually, droid is trademarked.
Really?
Robot.
By Star Wars.
Robot.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Space robot or
Space
something.
Generic gold robot.
laser robot sword.
Well, that's one of the most exciting things.
Yeah, you can have a light sword battle.
Yeah, that's
in
right.
in the
The cantina that's non-specifically
yeah,
located in any place.
non-specific space cantina.
But I mean, literally, all the spells I've got in Syrinscape so far have literally been called Force Missile and Fire Spell. So it will be super, super exciting to be able
Change
to put
them.
in the actual names of the spells.
Do you have like what if you cast a fireball and it misses? Is there a sound for like
It's a
There
sound
is-
trombone.
there's- here we go.
Yeah.
Ready? And there's,
Awesome.
I mean, that's if you're that sort of dungeon master, and I absolutely, totally am that sort of dungeon master. There's even, most importantly, hang on, this is the important combination here, which I use frequently, is this one, obviously, which is your fireball, followed by
Good old Wilhelm.
Wilhelm.
the day I discovered the Wilhelm scream was public domain was a day of great joy, which not many people understood, but now they do, that they get to trigger it themselves in Syrinscape, which
That's
is cool.
awesome.
Every movie has it now, so
Oh,
why not
yeah.
every session of D&D?
Absolutely.
Of course.
And then what's cool, so we're going to make, so Dragon Heist will be the first sort of complete collection that we make that of sound pack that will go along with playing the adventure. But also things like we were talking about, D&D monsters, right? We're going to bring to life some of these iconic D&D monsters that maybe haven't had a voice or a sound previously.
That's right. And we'll
Yeah.
be able to hear how they sound, how the kobold sounds or the goblin sounds.
That's right. What happens with the way we do it when we support an adventure is we create all the monsters that are required for that adventure. And yes, kobolds appear in Dragon Heist. I don't know. Oh, that might be a big reveal. And
Monsters are in Dragon
that's
Heist.
right.
I'm pretty sure.
That's
People
right.
might know that. I don't know.
But then we'll release kobold, the official Dungeons and Dragons kobold battle. So you can just actually have a generic location. So if you need kobolds in your own homebrew, then you can use that as well.
That's awesome.
So how are these sounds created?
Well, Red Dragons.
A Foley
right.
artists
That's
come
right.
in and make all that with
Yeah.
ratchety things and balloons.
That I would love to see.
It's a combination of, basically, to create a monster, you need a unique source. So whether that's a human voice who can do a particular sound. I'm particularly proud of the Red Dragon because it's actually my voice. So you take something like and turn it into
That was originated from
that's
you?
actually me, which is super cool.
That's you hung over.
That's right.
Oh, yeah.
So some amazing pitch shifting. I've also used all sorts of animals. I found Tasmanian devils the other day. There was a recording someone had of Tasmanian devil
You
basically
have
going.
you have good animals in Australia.
Scary animals, that's right. You basically find a new source and then you find a new way of processing it. It has to sound otherworldly. Obviously, it can't be obviously just a normal source.
But if you listen to like a fox,
Yeah.
like foxes basically sound like demons screaming in the woods already. Like you almost don't even do any modulation to it. It's
Absolutely,
crazy.
that's right. So often it just needs a little shift or a reverse reverb or a formant shift or any of these fancy things, which are
fox
lots
will
of
sue
fun.
you.
The fox
That's right.
You have to
are people
modify.
too.
I did a
What
cougar.
does the fox say?
We know now. There's a fox button.
I thought once a cougar would be cool to have in Syrinscape as some sort of source, and then I found recordings of cougars, and they literally sound like this, and I'm not joking. Oh, oh! I was like, oh my gosh, it sounds
Oh.
terrible.
So ferocious.
Yeah,
I'm so resisting all the jokes in my head right
I
now.
know.
But
thank you.
That's not what they sound like.
that's true.
Steady, gentlemen.
But
think. You can do it.
Sounds like ice cubes clinking in a glass of Chardonnay.
So he has to resist, but you don't have to. Is that how it works?
That's
Okay,
true.
good.
That's true.
It's okay if I say it.
That's right.
So you said you created this for you essentially as Dungeon
Yes.
Master.
Yes.
When did you start playing Dungeons and Dragons, and when did you start wanting to make soundboards?
Oh my
Yeah. So I started in the 80s, and we went for Christmas at the Mile Lakes, which is about 5 hours north of Sydney. Sort of sand and heat and sandflies.
Sounds lovely.
It is lovely.
Yeah.
No, it was lovely. It was our yearly holiday that we always went on. Except I had chicken pox that year. I was just covered in red dots and calamine lotion, and felt miserable. But then my parents gave me the red box, the first edition red box. And oh my god, and those illustrations of the cleric in the fitting chain armor and her needing the hero to toss her over his shoulder and rescue her from the evil Barglag or whatever his name was, the evil wizard, and that just set my mind on fire. It was amazing. And then I played. I took a break. I missed second edition completely because of sort of late high school, and then I came back. I remember ringing a gaming store and asked about Dungeons and Dragons and how I would buy it. And they said, oh, so you're obviously 3.5. I'm like, yeah, sounds like a number. That sounds great. So I bought all the 3.5 books and bought the dice. I still use the one set of dice. I'm not one of those people who buys millions of dice and has a big jar. I just have my 7 dice, and if anyone touches them, they die. And then, so I was playing 3.5, and by that time I was a composer and an opera singer and a performer, performing lots on stage in the opera house and all sorts of things. Pianist,
you are an
and
opera
cellist.
singer too?
I worked professionally as an opera singer with Opera Australia.
Way.
Yeah, for years.
The Sydney Opera House?
Yeah.
So nice.
I've heard of that.
Have you heard of that?
It's a thing where people sing. Yeah. And so really, to me, it just seemed really peculiar to sit at the table in silence, listening to the sound of the fridge buzzing. And I just thought, well, music is a thing in movies that people got used to eventually. And so I started grabbing movie soundtracks, as I said, and that was kind of cool, but they always seemed to go in the wrong direction. So I started making recordings of environmental sounds. So I brought up a sequencer and dragged in some dog woofs and dragged in all those elements you're hearing. Went for 15 minutes. But the genesis for Syrinscape comes down at this one moment, which is so classic, where, as I said, the PCs, the players had been in this town negotiating with this stupid barkeep for like hours, like literally like an hour and a half. And that 15-minute recording went round for whatever that sum is, for the 7th time. And together they all stopped the table and went, hey, wait. Roof, roof, oh! Because that one pattern had come round.
They knew when the dog was going to bark.
They knew when the dog was going to
everybody
bark.
wait 2 minutes and 37 seconds in, the
And it
dog's
was
going to bark.
always
And
the
this
same
means
pattern.
something. It's a puzzle
That's
that
right,
we
yeah.
players have to solve.
Because the human mind is designed to notice patterns, right? That's what we do. We notice patterns when they're not there. It always rains on my tennis day on Thursday, for instance, kind of thing. So instead of creating immersion, it was actually drawing the players out of immersion and attracting their attention to the soundtrack, which should be completely subliminal. You're never thinking in a movie, the trombones just played a tritone. That means the woman in the shower is kind of in trouble. So
I only know what half those words were.
that's right, yeah.
Trombone.
What is that?
And
Yeah,
woman
see?
was one of them.
Yeah, I know. I don't understand.
But if I played you that sound, you'd totally understand exactly what it meant. That's right. You'd know the cue and what was going to happen to the character.
Yeah.
And so I started making my recordings longer and longer and longer. And then I hear always sort of dragging in dog woofs kind of and trying to space them out. And I was like, and it occurred to me that this is a thing a computer does really, really well. You can give it 20 samples and tell it to pick one up in a random time. Syrinscape will put that dog woof when it comes around in a random direction in the surround spectrum at a random distance. And what's super cool, it will even apply the acoustic of the environment. So if it's a really echoey dungeon and you put it ages away, all you'll hear is just this kind of reverb tail of. I don't know why there'd be that dog woofing in the dungeon, but it might be. Or if it's close,
You never know.
that's right. Yeah, if it's close, it'll be drier and more immediate. Do you know what I mean? Like imagine if that dog was at the distant end of a cathedral, it would just be like a.
So you can tell the app. The app will.
Absolutely.
Yeah, totally.
That's right.
Science.
Is there a brain exploding?
That's right. Yeah, that's right. So
I can
I
give you that
yeah.
sound effect.
The Syrinscape software is built on this really powerful algorithm, and so it's got thousands of sounds in it that have been custom created. But they, because of the algorithm and the tool, it's never repeating for starters. So it literally will never be the repetitious soundtrack. And so it takes all of these elements, and like Ben said, it brings them in at different times. It brings them in at different intervals and distances, and takes into account whatever the acoustics of the room are.
And see, that doesn't mean anything. The
that.
word doesn't mean anything to the players who are listening, but it has an absolute effect on the experience. If it doesn't sound natural, then it just takes them out of immersion straight away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
and,
cool.
And the idea being, I mean, that's what we do with these games, right? We like to create an immersive atmosphere for our players. We want them to get lost in the story, and this is sort of the the missing element, right? It's that hasn't been around before, so
Right.
it brings people into the game and really just makes all of the soundscape makes the environment come alive.
So with a Ben getting 3.5 D&D, that was partly some of your marketing messages there from when you were previously here at Wizards of the Coast. Is that right?
3.5 was a little after my time, but I was part of the team that launched 3rd edition. I am a Wizards of the Coast alumni. Yeah,
That's amazing.
back with Shelley back in the
her.
day in the way back
was
machine.
So cool. She was the coolest.
She
I
is
was
cool.
scared and
Still cool.
intimidated.
I'm
She's
just
still got
old
cool.
now.
No, I still think you're super cool.
I think you're super cool too.
I know. It was really great before we started recording that you guys being like, oh, do you remember this? Do you remember that? Do you remember this?
But you're a mom
Yeah.
now. What?
And now I'm not cool.
No.
I was cool at school.
But it's so, I mean, this is so, this is amazing. I mean, the studio you guys have here, I mean, we just dreamed about this kind of stuff. Actually, I have a story, so it will be short. But when I was putting together the launch plan for Dungeons and Dragons, I remember having, for 3rd edition D&D, I remember pitching the idea of, well, what do you think? What if there was a way to show people, because people don't get how the game is played. So how do we show them what it looks like to, play it, watch a table of players, and we could put it on the World Wide Web.
Oh my God. Let's get out our disc cameras and take pictures of people playing and then go to CBS and get our film developed.
Totally. But the team was like, oh, nobody's going to sit around and watch people playing Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah.
And
I think
Here
even
it
5
is.
years ago we thought that.
Yeah.
I mean,
true.
I think I can still go find my original, 3rd edition marketing plan where it says and we could try to broadcast on the World Wide Web.
If we can
And
find
a little
that.
note, it's no, brand team thinks that idea
No,
sucks.
they won't do it.
We know that there's some collectors out there that might want to purchase your 3rd edition
Your
marketing
plans.
plan.
You
Yeah.
could post
Alex, we're
it on
talking to
cassette
you.
to people or something. That's right. But I mean, a lot
Here's
of
the
it has,
mixtape.
that's right. A lot of it has been devices enabling this thing. I mean, this thing's running 20 channels of multi-position surround sound audio with a graphical interface. There's no way you could have possibly done that on a device 10 years ago.
Yeah.
I wrote a really dodgy version on PC 10 years ago. And it's only about 5 years ago that we realized that we could actually launch a company and release something that you can use on phones and tablets and PCs and Macs and all that sort of stuff. So it is technology that enables this. Plus, so therefore, with your theory, Twitch and YouTube have enabled actually streaming to becoming something really practical.
Yeah,
Right.
it's amazing though. For those of us that have been in, this hobby forever, or the business of this hobby forever, it's really amazing to see there's. What?
What?
Sorry,
Sorry, I can't
I got
resist.
lost in the environment.
I love that you switched it to old reverie.
right,
Let's
that's
talk
right,
about the
that's
past.
Yeah.
This is where we'll get all of the background
sorry.
information that we need to slaughter the
right.
demons that are attacking us
That's
now.
right. Yeah, exactly. Yes, this is exposition music.
Exposition music, yes. See, but that's what's great as a dungeon master, because I was like you, where I used movie soundtracks and things like that. And I had, this was my playlist that was for combat, and this is my playlist that was for downtime. And that's about as far as I got. But I ran into the same problems that you did, where it was like, okay, well, this song is great for the first 2 minutes, but the third minute is not the same mood as that one. And so I didn't have the wherewithal or the means to cut up or edit anything. And this does that all for you. And in a way that's so easy to use that I think it's a great tool. I really do.
Yeah, it's really interesting having had to develop the music for this, because the music literally has to be somewhat uniform. When you want a mood change, when you want a mood change, I'll say it in Australian, you actually have to reach over and touch it, and that's when the music contours to a different mood. So say if you're thinking of Lord of the Rings, the music, just when they come up over the edge of the cliff and the party appears in
There's that
fellowship.
hero shot?
That's right. So the kind of the 2 minutes before that, the music just takes this one contour from nothing to absolutely massively epic, and then as they go over the edge, then the music explodes in this great crescendo. And if that's running in the background of your game, and you're trying to have a conversation with the elf who they stopped on the side of the road to talk to, it's really gonna be really incongruous.
We're like, oh, we should be doing our hero shot
right,
now.
yeah,
Let's
exactly.
everybody pose
And once
while
again,
we're talking to
that's
the
right.
elf.
And once again, the attention then goes to the soundtrack, and you're gone. It should be
Exactly.
subliminal. So when you want skittering bugs and that's all in the background, you just put that on, and people maybe don't even notice. Often, my players don't notice until it's turned off. And then they suddenly think, why did we... Oh,
Right.
this room's... Everything feels so much more relaxed now. What was going on? You're
But
like,
even that
"Wow."
can become a storytelling
Yeah,
tool, right? Where like all of a
exactly.
sudden everything is quiet and
Oh,
they're like,
yeah.
whoa,
Oh, yeah.
I feel nervous for some
Yeah.
reason. I don't know why.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly.
Oh, my iPad died.
Yes, that's right.
Anyone have a charger?
That's what that means.
You
Yeah.
said there's over 1,000 sounds in here?
There's about 350 sound sets, and each of those has 200 or 300 sounds in them. So yeah, way more than 1,000 sounds.
Thousands
did
of
them all?
sound
Thousands
elements.
and thousands
You
of
didn't
sound
do
elements.
all of them.
Yeah, mostly.
Yeah, gradually over the
Really
last 5
much?
years or so. Yeah, like
So no more opera singing.
that's right. No, Syrinscape literally took over my entire life. It was been hilarious. I was opera singing, singing chorus with Opera Australia and singing lots of minor roles all over the place, and working as a singing teacher, as you do as an opera singer. And I
Or any creative
That's
endeavor.
right.
really.
Yeah, exactly. Which I loved. I totally loved it. And I was doing an arts project with an amazing Australian philanthropist. And I just approached him because people were asking for this on iPad and stuff. I had this really dodgy PC version, which you can go back if you go on Wayback Machine and search for Syrinscape. And so we decided to give it a try, and he put me on for 2 days a week, and we made a budget and everything, and then it grew, and then it grew, and then it grew, and then now I'm just flying all over the world and going to the Dungeons and Dragons offices and chatting to people and recording Chris Perkins, which is so cool. So
Ben's dreams come
I know,
true.
yeah. I'm mainly
That's
geeking out
cool.
here.
This was really just a ploy to be
Yeah.
able to let him come visit.
We get that a lot. That
Yeah.
totally makes sense.
That's right.
How did you two start working together, Jenny? When did you start? Because you said you've been his client for 4 years, or
I think it's been about 4 years. So I was head of marketing with another RPG publisher, and
you can name them. It's okay.
and I was over at Paizo and working with Pathfinder, which Ben also makes the sounds for Pathfinder, and and I was having to review all of his ads and press releases and stuff. He had to get my approval as the head of marketing for the owner of the license, and I got tired of editing his stuff.
I know those feels.
We were talking about.
Let me help you with
that's
that.
right. We were talking about media training before we went on air, and I've had good rigorous media training from Jenny.
You're like, this press release is written in Australian.
That's
it
right,
needs
yeah.
to read.
There's too many
right.
U's in this.
I'm spending a lot of time and a lot of red ink on
Yeah.
this. Somebody should be paying me for this.
Yeah.
Good day spelled out just looks weird.
But so we started working together in that capacity, and then at some point I ended up going to work for myself, and Ben came on board as a client, and so I've been working with Syrinscape ever since.
That's super cool.
So, and it's fun. I said, you have to do things like, come to Gen Con and whatnot. So
Yeah.
we've been building it along the way. We do cool stuff like the Sound Cave now,
What's
which
the sound
actually,
cave?
you were
Yes.
asking about where the sounds come from.
Yes.
So Ben has done so many of them, and also his family too. Like you know that he's like in the living room with the wife and kids,
Oh, that's great.
taking sound
Oh,
samples.
baby, that's right.
But so we developed this thing where it's called the Sound Cave, the Syrinscape Sound Cave, and we take it out to conventions and other places where we'll run into other gamers, and it's a portable recording booth, and so fans will come inside and do recordings, and it's great because it's this booth, but we did a little cave facade on it, and there's a doorway that's got a dragon in it, so you have to go into the dragon's cave, and then once they're in there, we'll ask them to record a specific sound. So this summer, actually at Gen Con, we're going to be asking fans to come give us their voices. We're not sure yet what we're going to be asking them for, but it will be for Dragon Heist, and so the D&D community can
Oh my
actually
God, that's so
become
cool.
immortalized in an official D&D RPG sound set, which was pretty exciting.
Yeah, we've been
That's
discussing
fantastic.
maybe either a monster that needs a group of lots of different cries of a similar kind, so we don't actually have the same voice actor doing all the same cries, so it sounds like one person trying to put on different voices, or indeed street people passing on the street making
Yes.
sort of random comments or whatever. Because as I said, you don't want the same sound to be noticed repeating itself ever. So if we
Right.
can get 100 different sort of random street comments that you just subliminally hear somewhere in the background mixed in with a whole mush of other sounds, then that works really, really well for the app.
Bring out your dad.
Yeah, that's right,
Over
yeah.
and over again.
Oh, Marjorie said blah, 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 blah.
Exactly.
The Shoggoth, like what we did
Yeah,
for
the
the
Shoggoth was
Shoggoth is so
amazing.
cool. Do you want-
So we made a backing track of a whole lot of lines, sort of Cthulhu-esque lines. I kind of want to eat your soul and have it on toast for breakfast like Vegemite, which is Vegemite's an
As you
Australian
do.
thing. That's right.
Are you talking about sound stuff again?
That's right.
I don't understand that. It's a three-tone Vegemite.
Where was I? Oh, I'm just thinking of Vegemite.
we were
which I
making
miss. Sorry, we made a guide track of me saying these sounds, and we got everyone in the whole world at all the cons we went to, UK Games Expo, Gen Con, blah, blah, blah.
Literally every convention we went to last year.
and everyone recorded in perfect unison, or the best they could manage, together with this soundtrack. And then we placed all their voices together, and it was like the Borg of Cthulhu, a kind of like group sort of mind-destroying psychic horror, all speaking in unison.
Yeah, 1,000 voices making the one singular voice of the Shoggoth creature.
It's just epic. And then we also got everyone to improvise just general blah, 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 horror and general things. And then we made that kind of a wash of literally dozens and dozens and dozens of all voices intertwining. You just hear kind of death emerge or a psychic laugh or something. And that was really, really spooky. And we literally wouldn't have been able to do that without the fans coming. And you know, the options are hire 1,000 voice actors or you know, let people come and have some fun with Syrinscape. And everyone who contributes to a sound set gets that sound set for free when we release it, which is super cool.
And we have a credits page, so people get to have their name in lights, and they get to, you know, sort of bragging rights that they were able to contribute to the official sounds of their favorite game.
I love that too as a dungeon master, that you can be like, oh, you know, I did this, I went to this convention, and this is the sound that you. But after the session, so it doesn't break immersion. But like that feel of being a part of the story that everybody can interact with, I think is. I don't know. That's a benefit unto itself.
I've got it here actually. So Shoggoth,
and that's in the public domain as well, so we're safe.
That's right. Oh, I just spelled it shotgun. Okay, that's. Oh, thank you, autocorrect. That's so hilarious. Sorry. Oh, okay. Sorry. Right, Shog.
That's not the Shog.
Apple.
There's so many different mentally challenging demons that will come and eat your brains. That's what's been happening this whole time. So I was
trying to trigger. Here we are. So these are individual attendees. Yeah. Okay.
That's creepy. It's super creepy.
I'm already scared.
Here's them all together. Here we are. Right, UK Games Expo.
I am fate. I am destiny.
And here's Gen Con.
So that's creepy. So creepy.
There is no dark side of the moon.
That's right.
Not really.
So when you asked about how many sounds Syrinscape has, there's one for pretty much any setting, right? And how Ben was talking about, you can add light swords to your dragon sounds if you want. But yeah, whether it's a beach on a coastline somewhere, or it's a bustling town, or it's a dragon raid, there's something for every sound.
And you were saying that also people use this not in a tabletop RPG settings as well, just as office background music or in therapy.
The
that sounds so
morning one
cool.
is very pleasant.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you really can bring up any audio landscape that you want to listen to. And so, we've got folks listening to it just as, background music in their office. But then also we've got teachers and educators and folks who work with kids with autism. Like there's been a whole lot of uses that they've really found that this sort of dynamic sound tool has been really beneficial.
Nerd Strong Gym use it to motivate their interactive RPG exercise sessions.
Really?
They sent me a video of it the other day. It's just amazing.
Wait, what is Nerd Strong?
Nerd Strong, look it up.
It's like a CrossFit class, but it's done with fantasy RPG flavor.
Yeah.
Sweet.
And so, so your exercise is all, okay, now wield your broadsword up over your head or whatever.
I think you get bonuses to the rolls that you then roll. Yeah.
Totally.
Do 20.
Let's do it.
What's a fitness word? I don't know any.
I don't know, right? This is like the sound jargon conversation. So how long before you don't need a tablet and this is just your brain can control the soundtrack for your players?
We have talked about voice control because that's the thing that's almost working. You could have it listen to what the game master says and then it could just react and play things. But that almost could be it could be even worse than good.
I wonder if you could do that with like an Alexa or something.
Yeah, that's right. It's quite plausible.
She's listening.
That's right.
She just turned on and everybody's homes right now.
Play Danger Zone.
We would love to make Syrinscape.
We don't
for
have
Alexa.
the license for that.
If anybody who works with Alexa is listening, we would love to make Syrinscape for Alexa.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I'd love to be able to walk. I'd love to be able to walk in and say, "Oh, Syrinscape, play Stony Beach," and it just starts, and then.
Yeah.
Add rain, and some rain gets
That
added
would be
in.
cool.
if
I feel
Alexa
like it would
could
break
hear-
immersion though if you were giving voice
Yeah, I
commands.
think so.
in
I
the
think that
middle
would
of
be
a game.
terrible. Yeah,
You just
no,
have
not
to
in the
turn
game.
her on, give her a skill, and then she's
Yeah.
listening. And then when the dungeon master's like, "You walk outside and it's pouring rain," and then it just triggers the rain.
Yeah,
sound.
yeah, yeah.
Or you hear a red dragon in the distance, and then
Yeah, yeah.
And Alexa picks
she's
that
just
up and
picking
starts.
up that.
The only problem with that is though, like, the king is dead. Long may the next king reign.
That's right.
yeah,
Or like
she would-
his name's Bart. No, I said Bart. No, really, Bart.
How come we don't have this for Quinn going right now?
I need this.
Our kids would love that.
He's gonna
We
love
took it
that.
there. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I put farts in Syrinscape.
Of course you did.
No, did you source those individually?
Was
And
that also people at conventions in the sound?
are they
No.
also organized by food consumed or
vegetarian on
smell?
Weight Watchers?
Is there a smell factor?
The burps actually are really interesting. They came
there's
from
burps.
a fan of Syrinscape runs a radio show, and they ran a competition to to find the best burp, and all their fans of the radio show posted in all these burps, and then they
That's
asked
cool.
permission to their fans to then pass them on to Syrinscape so we could put them in Syrinscape, and that's why there are now burps in Syrinscape as well.
Excuse me.
I know.
Sorry.
Editing them was literally nauseating. It was like really
gross.
yeah. I had to kind of do it in 20-minute stints.
Oh,
to
is
understand
there
it.
we do a
throw-up
pa-
sounds?
No, no.
Yeah,
palate.
there is.
No,
Oh, no.
no. I gotta take my headphones off. I can't hear it. I can't hear it. You're gonna hear it. Oh my god.
Can we do a palate cleansing fireball right now?
Yeah, do a
want the
fireball.
birds.
Burn it. Burn it.
Birds, birds. Bring back the seagulls.
Light those.
There's nothing better than burning vomit smell with Wilhelm at the end.
It really just makes you part of the environment.
I feel like something just happened to us
You
that
feel
would
it?
not have happened if you didn't have the sounds
right.
going.
Fully immersed.
It's true. We were in it.
We're fully immersed in vomit.
Well, thank you guys. This is so
Yes.
cool. I can't wait for the Dragon Heist sound pack to come out. Do we know when that might be?
I believe September 8th is the release
Yes.
date.
Nice.
So yeah,
Nailed it.
we're planning on having the entire sound set for Dragon Heist available on day one. So if anybody, whoever's going to pick up and play this adventure should start on day one playing with sound,
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
it's the first time in this game that's been around for decades that's going to have its own soundtrack to go along with it.
That's
Yeah.
so cool.
That's
With literally stars of the team who design and build and wrote the adventure acting out the characters that they
Yes, sir.
love, which is so cool.
I'm
You
not in
can
You will totally be in it.
you can
crowd-
buy
Oh,
your
yeah.
that's
You're not
right.
getting
Yes,
out of it now.
No,
absolutely.
I
Totally
don't want
getting
to.
it.
I don't want to
We've
get
been
out of it.
recording in your cubicle all of the farts for like the last 25 days.
All right.
I need you to sign this release form.
There is a grey ooze which could use those sorts of explosions.
Bart already called the gray ooze. He was like,
Yeah,
"This is
yeah.
my wheelhouse.
Yeah, that's right.
I can
Really?
do all these sounds."
Yeah.
Really?
He did.
He did.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome.
The great ooze.
So people will be able to buy the product just as the sound sets, the sound pack just as a one-off, which just as a one-off purchase, or you can also actually unlock everything in Syrinscape with a subscription as well. And you can find
That
out
seems
all that information at Syrinscape.com, and you can just also download the Fantasy Player right now at Syrinscape.com/download, and it comes with like 8 free sound sets, including that Dragon Battle which I demoed, and the Storm sound set, and a kind of a medieval town, and some things to just get you started, so you can find out how it works and use it at your table already for free, and then grab the cool stuff which is shiny.
Sweet. And that's
Okay.
September 8th is the same day that Waterdeep Dragon
Yeah.
Heist is going to be available in
course.
game stores. So you'll be ready to go right
Yeah.
from day one, which is going to be fun.
Absolutely.
Woohoo! Great. You got all the Syrinscape information, but how can people find out about you guys personally, like what you're doing? Where can people follow you?
if you want them.
If you want that.
I tend to share my life through the Syrinscape feed because I'm tragic and
Because
cool.
it's taken over your life.
It's taken over my
Really,
life at the
that's what it
moment.
is.
Yeah, but you can find me through the Syrinscape feed and through Facebook. If you just search for Benjamin Looms, it's quite a unique name. You'll find out about me and all the things I've done
So
on my YouTube channel. and
On
things.
Twitter, that's at Benjamin Looms, or is that?
I don't actually use. I did make a Twitter account, but I'm bad and I didn't use it.
Oh,
I
so
just,
the
I
Syrinscape
just,
I think
is the
at
best.
Syrinscape's the best
Syrinscape
one.
is the best place
That
to
makes perfect
find all
sense.
of us.
you see I take photos of pretty places like Seattle mountains and things when I go on tour and post that on the Syrinscape feed because it's beautiful and I
Nice,
like
yeah.
beautiful things.
It's true.
Any
We love it
footage
here.
of you as an opera singer?
There are. You can actually see me singing on my YouTube channel. So if you go there and search for Benjamin Looms, you'll find a couple of little tidbits.
Really?
Yeah, tidbits. Americans say that, don't they? Yes.
Yes.
I have to make sure I speak American when I'm here.
It's very difficult.
That's right.
Yeah.
Water.
Water. Water.
Isn't that the word you said that you struggle with?
Yes. No. Yeah. Water. Yeah. Water.
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 When we
I also
talked
keep
to
saying I need to go
David
to the-
Harmon, it's similar.
I need to keep saying I need to go to the loo or need to go to the toilet, and Americans look a little bit sort of awkward when you say you're
Yeah.
going to the toilet. Yeah.
Toilet.
Washroom.
so
That's
tight.
right.
My son would
Washroom,
love
man.
Oh, let alone sidewalk, which I still can't get. I say footpath. The Americans say English say footpath. I don't know. Pavement. You say, don't you?
Sidewalk.
Yeah.
No.
or
Sidewalk. The
On a
English
side
say
of
pavement. Americans say
Sidewalk.
I
and
don't
you
know
say
anymore.
Australians say
Footpath. That's right.
Well, Australians call liquor stores bottle shop
yeah, or bottle-o.
or what?
Bottle-o.
Bottle.
We shorten everything. I say arvo.
Bottle-o.
I say arvo for afternoon. And in fact, I'm trying to convince some Americans that we say morvo as well, which we don't really, but it'd be really funny if I heard someone
Good
say
morvo.
morvo.
Good
back to me.
Morvo.
Good morvo.
Oh.
Top of the Morvo to you.
I saw a YouTube video the other day.
For your Irish
For my
Australians.
Irish Australians, there's a lot.
I saw a YouTube video which the premise was that Australians shorten everything to O, like bottle-o and garbo and lezo and all sorts of things. And I was like, oh, this is going to be so. I don't speak Australian. I listened to it like, yep, I say that. Yep, I say that. Yep, I say that. Oh, okay. It was like 2 out of 100 that I didn't say.
But now
You like didn't even realize the slang
Yeah,
had
that's
taken
right.
over so
Like,
much.
you're totally Australian.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, you passed the test.
Okay.
bottle shop. I like rocket lettuce too.
You name checked Vegemite in this interview. So,
That's right.
yeah. Sorry,
Without even
bud.
thinking about it, he's just like, oh,
And then
Vegemite.
you
I want
Vegemite,
some.
all
As you do.
Yeah.
Vegemite. Vegemite's gross. by
It
the
is pretty
way.
gross. I've tried it like
I'm
5
so
times.
sorry.
I'm
Stop
a-
saying it. I miss
You like it?
I like it, but Marmite is my preference, which is stronger than Vegemite.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Grosser.
maybe that's the one I had, and it was not.
It's true.
good.
You put very little on is the number one clue, right? Everyone out there in Radio Land.
They're like, they put on
don't,
too much, and
don't
you're like,
put it on like
"Mm."
jam. That's right.
I
No,
think I did that.
Yeah,
that's right. Yeah, yeah.
That's brave.
I didn't know. I didn't know any better. I'm like, I want to try this. I'm
That's
here.
right. Yeah, yeah,
And it was
yeah.
so gross.
That's
Oh,
like
no,
my
really
kids were like, I
thin
want some salt, and they're like,
Yeah, that's right.
"Shh."
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah.
oh, okay, you take a bite of that. See if you like it.
Does
Oh,
everyone feel
love
enriched
it.
now?
Marmite all the time.
Really?
Yeah.
Love it. Yeah.
All right, so we've
I
got.
carry some on tour. Like
Yeah, me-
I've got my little jar of
Yeah.
Marmite with
Really?
me makes hotel breakfast so
You know,
much
you could
better.
Go to Husky Deli in West Seattle and stock up.
They have some.
They
really?
do. They have a lot of good
Wow.
lot of-
import brands there.
Yep.
I love it. So we've got the sound board. Now we need a taste board
Yes.
and a smell
Smell
board for all
board.
the farts
Yes.
and burps,
Oh.
and the dragon thing.
Or
So
lighting. I'd love to integrate lighting. Like, it's literally one of our blue sky plans.
or blue lights.
Ooh.
Blue, yeah, to have, so when you hit a storm mood, it sets your hue
Storm.
lighting to blue,
Ooh.
and then when the
Lightning.
lightning triggers, it goes flash,
Yeah.
flash. It's actually reasonably practical to do. So as soon as we get the dev time to actually do that, then we'll be moving into
Or
that
like
tool.
when you lift up the
Yep.
lid of a treasure
Mhm.
or a trunk and
Mhm.
like the gold, you can have gold
Yep.
light shining on
Oh.
your
Yep.
face.
like Pulp Fiction style.
We like that.
Totally.
I
Yeah.
like you got so into the part
in.
there.
I'm immersed.
The gold is shining
Do
on your
do you have the sound of like treasure going through my fingertips?
Oh, like
Yes. Oh, look at Greg's making sounds.
making sounds left and right.
Oh my
That's
gosh, I thought that
$400
was
for
from
that
the
sound
app.
if you guys want it.
That's the friends and family price.
Exactly. Usually
Friends of
it's
Dragon
between
Talk.
4,000. Well, again, thank you guys so much. I'm excited about the Dragon High sound pack coming out, Sound 8th, along with the adventure, and everybody follow along, and there'll be
Yeah,
more
this is
information to
huge.
come in the future. Correct?
Yeah, follow us on Facebook and Twitter
Yeah.
and Instagram and all that
Yeah.
Very
nonsense.
exciting. Thanks, you guys.
Thanks. Thank you.
So awesome. Woo!
All right, Twitch people, we are going to take a short break. Then we have to say goodbye to Shelly because she's got very important things to do.
Nathan.
And then we will have an interview with Stephen David Wark about Warriors of Waterdeep, which is going to be fantastic.
Fun.
All right. See you guys in a little bit. We're going to take a short break.
Bye.